Okay, so I've been doing a lot of research on communism and fascism and the differences. And we call Obama a Marxist or a communist, but I really noticed the policies that the left and the right in this country support are kind of socialized risk but private reward. So like, TARP, the bailouts, the stimulus. I mean, the left and the right are both supporting that in this country. And really what we're moving towards is not really Marxism per se. It's a type of fascism, a kind of corporate government takeover.
Yeah, you're correct. Technically, Obama isn't a communist. He's a fascist. But the problem is, if you call him a fascist, the meaning of fascism has been so distorted in America that it doesn't make any sense. But both communism and fascism are a form of socialism. So it's probably better to call him a socialist because people have a better understanding of that word, because fascism is a form of socialism, as is communism, but they're not like at opposite ends of the spectrum. And if you go back to, the World War II and you say, Germany was fascist and Russia was communist, as if those countries were polar opposites, they weren't. They were very similar. I think if you want to draw a political spectrum, and if you put fascism on the left, that's where I put it. I don't put it on the right, but you can put them both on the right. But if you put freedom on the right, if you put anarchy on the extreme right, and you were to put, communism on the extreme left, fascism would be, right near communism, but a little bit to the right, but, still on the left, because it really has to do. And what fascism does is, instead of under communism, the state outright nationalizes ownership of capital. They just take it over. The government owns everything. Under fascism, they allow private ownership, but they combine it with high taxes and high regulation so that the equitable ownership really belongs to the government, because the government generates most of the revenue from taxation, but they still allow the private ownership in name. But that's what we have. We have a massive government that basically owns everything. I mean, if you take a look at my business, Euro Pacific Capital, the U.S. government earns more from my business than I do. The amount of money that I send to the government from corporate taxes, my payroll taxes, my employees' taxes, and my taxes, the U.S. government makes much more because I'm running my business than I do. So for all practical purpose, the real owner is the government. I mean, how much more money would the government get if they seized my business? They'd actually get less. I think if the U.S. government nationalized my business, right, and sent U.S. government bureaucrats to run it, that the government would actually be in worse shape. Because they leave it in my hands, they actually make more money. But in a real free economy, that doesn't happen. The government doesn't make more from a business than the actual owner. The owner takes the profits because the owner takes the risks. I still have all the risks. No matter what, the government ends up smelling like a rose. If I go bankrupt, the government still made money every step of the way.